What if the thing you're afraid of is actually the thing that will change your life? What if the rejection, the failure, the delay, the closed door wasn't the end of your story? What if it was simply a redirection? Most people walk through life believing everything has to happen exactly the way they planned. And when it doesn't, they panic, they lose hope, they start asking, why is this happening to me? But what if you ask a different question? What is this trying to teach me? That one question can change everything, because life doesn't always give you what you want, but sometimes it gives you exactly what you need. The person who walked away may have created space for someone better. The opportunity you lost may have protected you from the wrong path. The failure that embarrassed you may have taught you what success never could. You don't have to understand everything while you're living through it. Sometimes you simply have to trust. Trust that the story isn't finished. Trust that this chapter isn't the whole book. Trust that even when you can't see the path, there is still a path. So from today, start living with a different belief. Act as if everything, even the unexpected, is somehow working in your favor. Because when you change the way you see your life, you change the way you experience it. Something went wrong. Good. You heard that correctly. Good. Because every difficult moment is an opportunity to discover who you really are. Anyone can remain calm when everything is perfect. The real test comes when life doesn't cooperate, when the plan fails, when someone says no, when the money doesn't come, when the opportunity disappears. That's when you discover your mindset. The average person immediately thinks, this is a disaster. The stronger person thinks, okay, what's next? That's the difference. One person sees an ending. The other sees another move. You don't control everything that happens to you, but you control what happens next. You can panic, or you can think. You can complain, or you can adapt. You can give up, or you can continue. The situation may not be in your control, but your response is. So when something goes wrong, don't immediately assume your life is falling apart. Take a breath. Step back. Look again. Maybe this isn't happening against you. Maybe it's preparing you. Maybe it's redirecting you. Maybe it's strengthening you. You don't need to know exactly how everything will work out. You only need enough faith to take the next step. One of the hardest things in life is watching everyone else move forward while you feel stuck. Someone gets the job you wanted. Someone buys the house you dreamed about. Someone reaches a success you've been chasing. And suddenly, you start questioning yourself. Am I behind? Did I miss my chance? Is something wrong with me? No, you're simply on your own timeline. Your life is not a race against someone else's clock. You don't know what their journey required, and they don't know what yours requires. Some flowers bloom in spring, others bloom in winter. Neither is wrong. They are simply different. Your delay doesn't mean denial. Your slow progress doesn't mean failure. Sometimes, you're being prepared for something you're not ready to handle yet. The problem is, we want the reward before we're ready for the responsibility. We want the success without becoming the person capable of sustaining it. So trust the process. Keep working. Keep learning. Keep improving. Your time is coming. And when it does, you'll understand why you had to wait. You'll understand why certain doors stay closed. You'll understand why the journey took longer than you expected. Because sometimes, the delay is part of the design. Imagine waking up every morning and expecting something good to happen. Not because you believe life will be perfect, but because you believe you can handle whatever comes. That's real confidence. It's not believing nothing will ever go wrong. It's knowing that even when something goes wrong, you will find a way forward. Your expectations influence your behavior. If you expect failure, you will hesitate. If you expect rejection, you'll never ask. If you expect disappointment, you'll protect yourself from opportunity. But when you expect possibility, you start moving differently. You take chances. You speak with confidence. You pursue opportunities. You keep going longer. And sometimes, that's all success requires. Not more talent, not more luck, just a willingness to continue longer than everyone else. Start telling yourself a different story. Instead of saying, everything is going wrong, say, Something better is being created. Instead of, I always fail. Say, every failure is teaching me. Instead of, I'm behind. Say, I'm exactly where I need to be. Your word become your beliefs. Your beliefs shape your actions, and your actions shape your future. So choose your story carefully. Sometimes, you will stand in front of a door, and it will refuse to open. You knock, you wait, you try again, nothing, and you think, this was my only chance. But what you don't realize is that you're staring at the wrong door. Life is a strange way of closing one path to force you toward another. You may lose a job and discover your true career. You may lose a relationship and finally learn to love yourself. You may fail at something and discover a talent you never knew you had. You may be forced to start over and build something far greater than what you lost. The closed door isn't always punishment. Sometimes it's protection. So stop begging doors to open. Stop forcing what isn't meant for you. Stop chasing people who don't value you. Stop holding on to situations that have already ended. If something leaves your life, let it. If one path closes, look for another. Don't waste your entire life staring at a door that won't open. When an entire world is waiting behind you, you don't need to see the entire staircase. You only need to see the next step. That's one of the biggest lessons in life. We want certainty. We want guarantees. We want to know exactly how everything will end. But life doesn't work that way. Sometimes, you have to move without knowing. You have to believe without proof. You have to continue, even when the destination isn't visible. That's called faith. Not blind faith, but the faith that says, I don't know what happens next, but I know I won't stop. You don't need to know how you'll become successful. Start learning. You don't need to know how you'll become confident. Start acting. You don't need to know how you'll change your life. Start with today. The future is built one decision at a time. So stop worrying about the entire journey. Focus on the next step, then the next, then the next. One day, you'll look back and realize every small step took you somewhere. Life will test you. There will be days when nothing makes sense. Days when you lose. Days when you feel tired. Days when you question everything. But even on those days, there's always something you can control. Your perspective. You can focus on what you lost, or what you learned. You can focus on what went wrong, or what you can do next. You can focus on the problem, or you can search for the lesson. This doesn't mean pretending pain isn't real. It means refusing to let pain become your identity. You can be disappointed and still be grateful. You can be afraid and still move forward. You can fail and still believe in yourself. That's strength. The goal isn't to live a life where everything goes perfectly. The goal is to become someone who can find meaning, even when things don't. Train your mind to look for the lesson. Look for the opportunity. Look for the next move. Because the person who can find possibility in difficult situations will always have an advantage. So here's the mindset. The mindset that can change everything. Act as if everything always works out. Not because you know exactly how. Not because life will never hurt. Not because you will never fail. But because you trust yourself enough to believe that whatever happens, you will find a way through. If you lose, you'll learn. If you fail, you'll grow. If you get rejected, you'll redirect. If a door closes, you'll find another. If the plan changes, you'll create a new one. That's the mindset of someone who refuses to be defeated by circumstances. Life can knock you down, but it doesn't get to decide whether you stay there. You do. So stop living in fear of what could go wrong. Start focusing on what could go right. Stop asking, what if I fail? Start asking, what if I succeed? Stop wondering, what if they reject me? Ask, what if this is the opportunity that changes everything? You don't know what tomorrow holds, and that's exactly why you should be excited. Your next opportunity could be closer than you think. Your breakthrough could be one decision away. Your greatest chapter could be waiting behind the thing you're currently afraid to face. So keep going. Keep believing. Keep moving. Trust yourself. Trust the process. Trust that every chapter has a purpose. And when life doesn't go according to plan, smile, take a breath, Stand up and say, this isn't the end. Because maybe, just maybe, the thing you thought was breaking your life was actually rebuilding it. The thing you thought was a setback was actually setting you up. The thing you thought was a closed door was actually redirecting you toward the right one. So from this day forward, walk differently, think differently, speak differently, act as if your story is still being written, act as if the best is still ahead, act as if every challenge is making you stronger, act as if every failure is teaching you, act as if every delay has a reason, act as if everything, always, works out. Because the moment you stop believing that life is happening to you and start believing that life is happening for you, you become harder to break. And when you become impossible to break, you become unstoppable. Keep going. Your story isn't over. The best chapter may be the one you haven't lived yet.